Hi Sean, you alright?
Yeah, very good, thanks.
Excellent, excellent. What have you got for me?
I've got a valuation on a Mercedes that we just had in. I just want to talk through it if I may.
Okay, who's it for?
It's for one of the used car guys, Stephen. It's against a used Tiguan that we've got in stock.
Excellent, okay. And you physically gone up to the car?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, it appears to have had, I think it's had some paintwork on one side of it. Customer claims it has a full service history. Now, I think with Mercedes, I'm right in saying that's digital, I think.
That is correct, yeah. Digital
Okay.
now, so...
Okay. There's one strange warning light on the dashboard. It's not a red one, it's a yellow.
Okay, and who have you asked about that? Have you seen anybody in the workshop to see?
No, I haven't done that, obviously, because it's a Mercedes. I didn't know whether they'd be able to look at that in terms of...
Okay, yeah, but thinking back what we said before,
Okay,
and looking at any manufacturer,
okay,
if you're uncertain, come and get me,
okay,
or obviously go and get one of the technicians. They'll be able to tell you, hopefully. So think about what the training we did with you,
okay.
and then come back to me with what, because obviously you're now looking at it for Stephen.
Yes,
What would I value that at? What would I have done?
right,
So if you look
Okay.
back and think about when we went through this before,
okay,
what would you do?
okay. I'd obviously get further information first for you, so I could get, even though it'd be one of our technicians, they may be able to steer me in the right direction. Or at least
Excellent.
give me a little bit more information about
Because
what it might
we
be.
won't necessarily know either, and nor might they, but obviously the more information we gather,
Yeah.
obviously going forward, we would obviously hopefully then be able to say to the customer where we've gone wrong, if we, what's wrong with it.
Right.
And have you asked any questions as well to the customer? When did the light come on? Anything like that?
He said it came on about 2 weeks ago. He said that it's been fine, absolutely fine. I mean, it's a 17 plate, so obviously looking at the date of registration, it was first registered on the 20th of March. And he said he had it, he's been in line with his MOTs. And he said the light wasn't on when he had his last MOT.
Okay, that's good. That's a good question then, so we know that. And do you know why he wants to change it now?
Yeah, it's a C-class a saloon, so he wants a Tiguan because he's got another baby on the way, and so family-wise he needs big space.
Okay, and did you ask Stephen what he wanted for the car as well? Because obviously, as he asked the customers, because again, this is a bit like you getting information from them as well
Of course.
for the next level.
He said he's seen them online for around £10,500.
Okay.
But I suspect that's more a retail figure than a trade figure.
Okay, so have you now gone and checked the car yourself?
Yes, I have. I've done a full walk round. Basically, what I've seen is that there are 4 alloy wheels damaged.
Okay.
The tyres look okay. As I say, I think there's been some paintwork on one side. Windscreen's okay. Yeah, apart from that, it looks a clean car.
Okay, and do you think this is an auction car, or would you say it's a car to go off to the one of the traders, or do you think maybe a main dealer might want to buy it from us? Because obviously now we're looking for the best valuation.
I think because of the mileage, I'd say it's outside of main dealer, because it's done 93,000 miles. Obviously, if once we get the service history and we can determine actually what it is, then I personally don't think it's a main dealer car.
I think I agree with that actually. Can I have a quick look at it as well and see what you think?
Yeah.
Thank you. You just put it to... Let's take him some good pictures. And you're spot on about the actual alloy wheels being driven by touch by the look of it. Okay, so have you done any homework on obviously book values, and what do you actually think the car is worth now?
Okay, I think the car, personally, taking into consideration damage and the way that I've worked in the past, is I've costed out the wheels, I've looked at the damage. I can see obviously that the car's clean figure is 8.7 and it's 7 and 7 as an average. I see this just below average condition in my opinion, with the work that's required. and obviously taking into consideration the warning light that's on the vehicle.
Okay, and have you called anybody as well just to get a second opinion?
Not
Or-
at this stage, no. I haven't.
Okay, that's perfect, because I think you're spot on. I think it's a car that we can value.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to say to you, remembering your training that you've had, and I'm not here, so you're going to go back to Stephen. You know the customer wants his expectations is a little bit higher than what he wants. So how are you going to approach that with Stephen now?
Okay. I think I would explain to him the rationale behind why I've arrived at that figure. So once again, I would factor in the fact of a warning light being on the vehicle, paintwork, damage, age, and general condition.
I think, you know what, looking down what you've got there, I think it's spot on. I don't think I'd have done anything differently. The only thing I would say, from a personal perspective, is on a car like that, I maybe phone one of the traders up just to get a second opinion,
Right.
because it's a Mercedes.
Okay.
So remember we spoke about like a Renault, or especially a Volkswagen, it's our bread and butter cars.
Yes.
If we get anything like a BMW or a Mercedes, sometimes it's worth just to get a second opinion,
Right.
because then we're safe.
Okay.
So if you're not sure, because obviously when you start to value now as you're doing, I'm not always going to be doing this now, because obviously now you're training and you know this is spot on again, and the ones you valued this week have all been spot on.
Okay.
So I don't have no worries about that. The only thing as well got to be careful of is if we do get a car come in that we're unsure about, I'd always get a second opinion as well.
Okay.
So don't get flummoxed by having to ask somebody else for a bit of help, bit of training,
Okay.
because actually we don't know if it do we,
No.
to be honest.
Understood. Yeah.
So that's probably what I do. But I think you're actually definitely there. So I'd go back to Stephen, explain to Stephen why you've come to that conclusion,
Yeah.
and if the customer wants to see you as well, just go and explain to the customer as well.
Okay.
Because obviously his expectations are you're right by saying he wants a retail value, and obviously we're only interested in the trade value. So,
yeah, of course.
and then obviously we can see what we can do with the car that he's buying
Okay.
if need be.
I do have one question. So
Fire away.
the Tiguan's only just come into stock.
Yep.
So taking a factor in timescales in terms of getting that vehicle ready for sale, this might reach the end of the month.
That's a good point actually. Yeah, we're on the 17th now, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
Yeah, so if you remember, how can you tell what that may drop next month? Can you remember by looking at the HPI?
Yes, there's there was a figure that's normally printed on the report where it shows where it was last month,
That's it.
which is the graph at the end.
That's spot on. So now, so if you just look at that, and then if we speak to the workshop,
Okay.
find out if the car will get ready in time, if they want to buy the car. If it comes in, I would look at giving them two prices.
Okay.
So if it comes in before the end of the month,
Right.
and I'm talking, like we said before, 4 or 5 days before the end of the month,
Okay.
it'll be this price. If the customer can't make their mind up and it goes into next month,
Yeah.
give them an estimate of what we think it'd be worth next month as well.
Okay.
Because again, you're not then
Okay.
bringing the car into too much money. It's a really good point.
And what do you suggest I do about that warning light?
I would go back to the customer and say to the customer, obviously, ideally we want it put out, because obviously we're going to mark it down because of the warning light. It may be worth a little bit more if they get the warning light changed, but I'd still speak to one of the technicians, because if it is a EC unit or something like that, it will need to be changed.
Okay.
That can be quite costly.
Absolutely. That's
So
what
we
I was
need to
concerned
find out
about.
first. So ideally, we would want that doing before the car come in.
Right.
And if we don't understand what it is, because obviously that's why we're hitting a little bit harder
Yes.
because of that.
Okay.
So it could be worth more value to the customer if they get it done.
Right.
But if they don't, then obviously we're allowing for that by,
Yes.
by seeking an extra bit of advice.
Okay. All right.
All right?
Great.
Let me know, all right? I'm going to have a little wander outside and have a look at the car as well. So just a second pair of eyes, or a third pair of eyes in this case. And
Thank you.
yeah, well done, mate. That's really
All right.
good.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Sean.
No worries.
Cheers,
See
buddy.
you later. Cheers.